newspapers today just to get ready for the show. And it turns out you're talking about our shit. I read that shit in the U.S. because I have to. What's your excuse? Huh? It's all the same propaganda crap. It really is. You guys, you're just a few years behind the United States on every stupid step. It's just like we're the horrible ghost of Christmas future.
How do you feel like about all the all the Canadian fans here in Toronto? Being an American, and you speak mostly to American politics.
Well, they've been great. They've been amazing, and I love it. I've toured Canada before and had a great time, and I also find that everybody in Canada seems to know as much about our politics as Americans do, maybe more at times. So, yeah, I haven't had many moments where I had to explain, okay, I know you guys don't get it, but this is what's going on. Everybody gets it here, so.
You explained the binary system.
You're kind of just, I feel like Canada just slightly back one notch from the, like, hellstorm, just clusterfuck that we're in the middle of. And it's like you guys are seeing the ghost of Christmas future, but only by a few years. So you're right behind us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, totally right behind you. When it comes to, like, our politics and American politics, my just your comments to that, and can you speak to it as far as its differences, really?
The differences between the two politics?
Yeah, seriously.
Well, like I said, I think they're getting pretty similar. I think Trudeau is kind of your Obama. Like he seems, yeah, especially with the blackface. Clearly, he is the Canadian Obama. But he's slicker, and this is what Obama was. He was a slick face for the corporate state power to continue pillaging, to continue extracting the wealth to the top. Very little change in terms of the core issue of the country under Obama, and I think it's similar with Trudeau. And obviously he's in bed with big oil, it seems, and many other things. So it's like the system didn't change under Obama. It didn't. A lot of the system is not changing under Trump. It's just he's taken off that suave, I'm an intellectual and I'm going to help you guys kind of veneer, and that has been washed off, and now we see the troll with just shit oozing out of its ears that is actually running the show. So.
Because you're right about Canadian politics. We are in bed more with the oil companies, actually, probably a lot more, maybe perhaps what the United States is, maybe. I've seen some of the stuff here in Canada.
I don't know if it's possible to be
more
in bed than the U.S.
No.
But maybe you're on par. Yeah.
Maybe on par. Because Canada just does what the U.S. does. We just do it like later or something like that. But my other question for you, and because in your book you say, where's it here? I did. I was reading your book. Yeah, I was reading your book. Let me just get the quote. Yeah, let me get
it's a quote from Jaron Lanier.
That's yeah.
We devote a lot more money in our society to manipulation. If you look at, the graphic artists who work on magazines or ads or all those type of things, they can make a good living. Or creating jingles for commercials. If you're that kind of songwriter, you can make a good living. But your average songwriter who's not doing that, your average graphic artist who's not doing that, is having a lot of trouble making a living. So the point is, we dump a lot more money in our society and Canadian society towards manipulation than art.
That's right. And so how would you change that? How would you change that kind of manipulation, though? Because it's very difficult, even as a filmmaker and as an artist here in Canada. Myself, it's just like, holy crap. Yeah, you do depend on the grants to get you by, and it's sad that you have to. Like, how would you get manipulation out of art?
Well, I think, unfortunately, it comes down to capitalism. If you're going to set up an entire society based on profit almost no matter what, then the things that make profit are going to always rise to the top. Whereas you need to create a society that values a lot of other things other than just profit. If you created a culture and society that very much valued art and very much valued these things in a way that was separate from profit, then these things would be rewarded. We'd have governments that would dump money into just making sure we have wonderful art around our society. And I think that, some countries around the world right now are maybe doing that better than the U.S. is. But it really comes down to the profit motive.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, profits. Yeah, money just rules everything. Green pieces of paper seem to rule our souls here these days. But the other thing I wanted to ask you about the freedom of speech going on, especially with Max Blumenthal being arrested, and also Julian Assange. Man, that's sad. It sickens my heart. This manufactured kind of like laws that they make up just to try to get rid of an individual is just insane. Holy jeez, that scare you though, as a like you're a loud voice in the community, speaking against injustices. Like, how do you fear? Do you feel it sometimes?
Well, luckily I haven't feared that I would be arrested, but I am friends with Max Blumenthal, and the fact that he was arrested recently over false 5-month-old charges seems very clear that it had to do with his reporting and basically an attempt to shut him up, because he does do a lot of wonderful anti-government reporting that is revealing actual corruption. So it's not just anti-government at all costs, it's the truth. And so that is definitely scary on a new level. I think it's a slow creep towards fascism when you're arresting journalists in that way. I haven't feared like an Assange understandably fears, because the fact that I am creating comedy, and most of my stuff is I go off of the research done by wonderful investigative journalists that are not me. So I'm basically bringing forward information that I feel needs to get a wider audience, whereas Assange was bringing forward the actual, with WikiLeaks, the actual documents, and I think that was a new level of terrifying to the ruling elite. And for anyone who hasn't followed Assange or WikiLeaks and what's going on, he's in prison right now, basically being tortured. And WikiLeaks has, to this day, never published anything false. Right. And you compare that to our mainstream media, which gets something wrong constantly. I mean, endlessly. New York Times did an attack piece on me, and when I responded and listed all the lies and falsehoods in it, they ultimately had to retract multiple things from their own article about a comedian. Like, if you can't get an article about a comedian right, then what the fuck are you doing reporting the news? So, WikiLeaks should be held up as one of the great beacons of truth in our society, and instead it's being crushed.
You think you get away with it more because you're a comedian too, or because you're telling truth in the form of comedy?
Yeah, I mean, it could be that I'm viewed as less threatening, but in certain ways, comedy or entertainment can be more threatening in that it speaks to people that might not sit down and actually decide to want to learn this shit because it's too boring or whatever. So I hope that I can one day be more threatening than many of the wonderful, boring journalists that I know.
No, just as a personal note, I just want to let you know, I fact-checked one of your episodes one time, like from beginning to end, as a journalist myself. Okay. Accurate as shit. Holy shit. Especially the $21 trillion from the Pentagon. I thought, that can't be $21 trillion. And
you're not the first.
And then I went to the government website and I got the own PDF from the, your Attorney General's office, I guess. And yeah, it was totally right, totally correct on that. So my kudos to you, my hat's and minstrel hat off to you as far as this, for telling the truth on such difficult issues. But one of my last questions, though, on a humoristic note, if you happen to be the American Jesus, what's the first miracle would you give to the American people?
Well, first of all, I'd be black, so I'd be much cooler than I am right now. But my gift to the American people would be no religion. No religion. I'd be the Jesus that brought non-religion to people. No, although I am an atheist, I generally am not. I don't trash religion. I think it does, for certain people, it does important things, if it's important in their life. But I think that in general, if you use it to inhibit your understanding of our society or your belief in what we need to get active about, like the people that are sitting around thinking, oh, God made climate change, so it's all cool, then that's fucked up. So, that would be my gift to the people. Yeah. For Lent, I'm going to let go of religion. Yeah.
Thank you so much for this interview, Lee. This was an honor, and break a leg for tonight again, of course. Not that you need it, because wow, two nice sold house here.
People can check it all out at leecamp.com.